Disney is building a new community. Encanto is returning to theaters. We have masks being optional once again. And we also have a guest filling in this week. That's all coming up on Traveling with the Mouse. Welcome, everyone, to episode number 346. I am your host this week. My name is John, and I am joined this week by Adam.
Boo. What's up, everybody?
What was the boo for?
That's what I always do.
Where
Have you listened to?
Yeah, I know, but I thought the way you said it at first, I thought you were booing somebody.
Well, I'm always booing somebody in particular when it comes to Disney. Dr.
And we have a guest host this week, as Jason is unable to join us, but returning to the show is my brother, James.
Back by popular demand.
Golf clap.
By popular demand, yes.
That's right.
We had so many comments.
I know.
Actually, Adam, you probably should check to see if there's another comment on iTunes, because there might have been.
I wouldn't check. There's not.
Oh, okay. By the same mysterious person.
Well, the same mysterious
guy.
user.
That James Yale-10 guy. He's just something else.
Yeah, he loves you.
So yeah, I mean, the last few weeks, we've had trip reports, we've had topics, we've had a lot of stuff. We're kind of getting back to more of just a news-oriented show, more or less.
Got to catch up.
I kind of want to just touch on a few non-Disney, so to speak.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to go across the road.
No,
here,
don't do that.
just for a moment.
We don't talk about Universal.
We don't talk about Universal. It didn't have quite the same ring. There's a rumor, because you might actually be interested in this, that there are Back to the Future and Jurassic World escape rooms coming to City Walk at Universal Orlando. See, I told you that might intrigue you, especially a Jurassic Park escape room. Have you ever done an escape room?
Yeah, I have. So if you don't complete the Jurassic Park escape room in time, does like a raptor come out and eat you or something? That'd be cool.
Yep.
Like, what's his name? Samuel L. Jackson's character.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember his name, but yeah.
Mr.
Arnold.
No, Arnold.
Yeah, Mr. Arnold.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, they call him Mr. Arnold.
Hold on to your butts.
Does Blue come out?
Yeah.
Anyway, it did say Jurassic World. That's the reason why I said Blue.
Right.
But I don't know. Have either of you guys done an escape room? We've done one once. I've kind of wanted to do it again.
I have not. I have never done one.
I've done one, and I've actually done a virtual escape room. Have you ever done virtual?
Virtual escape room? Never heard of it.
That sounds like it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's nothing like being there, huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's much better in person. Got to be.
Yeah. You have to solve digital clues. Yeah, it's not fun.
And what made me think about that though too is what if Disney decided to do their own version of an escape room? What would they even theme it to? I mean, what you're in an escape room?
Book of Boba Fett. You could escape.
Just had to throw that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could escape Jabba's palace. That'd be cool.
All right. The only other story I had from across the pond was because they did it first, and the breaking news was, and we knew that something would follow suit, right? That masks were no longer required at Universal Studios for any guests, it said. Right. So
You didn't specify vaccinated or not?
they did initially, but then they just came out with a follow-up to it that said basically that goes as far as outdoors goes. That goes for anybody. They're not even bothering with saying you have to be vaccinated. Just the indoors part is what they're saying that for. Again, they're not going to check. Neither is Disney, because Disney followed suit saying that they were no longer going to require it for the unvaccinated. But they're also not going to ask for proof at the gate. So it's kind of based on the honor system. So it really is just a way of making it up to the guests now at this point. And I don't know. We might have differing opinions. I know some people have had differing opinions. I think it's kind of time to do something like this. I don't think it's too early like the last time. I mean, I think based on the stuff we've learned since then and what we know now, it's probably about time to do something like this. What do you guys think?
Well, Disney's policy is if you're fully vaccinated, it's optional, right? Not.
That's
Right.
their policy, but so that's what Universal has for indoors as well. But again, they're not.
They're not going
To my knowledge, they're not going to check. Neither is
Yeah,
Disney.
because that would be too much work to check all that.
From what I heard, they're not checking. So
Yeah.
they're not even making, if you don't have one, they're not making you have a negative COVID test either. So,
But
Yeah,
it's not
that's-
like they do on the
Sure.
cruise ship. Yeah.
Right, but you
I-
can't just show it without a mask because they still require it on buses, monorail, and
transportation.
Skyliner.
Yeah, they haven't said anything about transportation so far, which is odd because if you're gonna if you're gonna pretty much make it optional in the parks, why wouldn't you also do transportation? But I don't know what the logic is there, because there's plenty of places you could be even closer than the transportation, especially in Magic Kingdom.
Right. We know as far as the Skyliner goes, the second those doors close, as long as you're not with strangers, the mask comes off.
Yeah.
That's what-
Well, there's free flowing air.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But of course, if you're with somebody else, you might not want to do that. But
It's at least dropped down past the nose anyway, probably.
I mean, that's what most people do anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
like I said, just what we've learned in more recent, I think it's kind of time. And it's so it should be up to the person as to how, what they're comfortable with, I guess. If someone still wants to wear one, that's fine. Right?
Right.
So,
Well, especially since people, they've said that if you're not wearing an N95, you're pretty much, it's useless anyway. It's
I
kinda
read
what
that too.
CDC
Right.
just said. So it's
so
like,
pretty
well,
much this whole time, I mean, it may have been effective to some degree, but
Yeah, I think it's still better than nothing. But
True.
but the whole social distancing has already been out the window for a while.
Oh God. Yeah. It's non-existent.
Yeah.
they're already at like full capacity anyway, too. So what's
They
the
claiming
point?
they're not though, so that's the
course,
bad
but
part. They claim they're not, but yeah, they are.
Just look around.
I mean, we've been there when it was packed, and it's packed.
I don't know. Well,
doesn't feel like less at all.
Whenever there's a 45-minute wait for Small World, it's packed.
True.
here's the thing. Like we had discussed before, back before COVID, it was so extremely rare for them to reach what's truly full capacity, right? Like it was very rare that they closed a park.
Right. Too fast.
No one else could get in. So if they're back to full capacity, they're just saying, okay, we're going to actually max it out once again if the people come. That's pretty much, but they weren't going to do that even this past Christmas season. So say 4th of July comes, there's a possibility that Magic Kingdom will be closed at some point in the day. Probably the same thing during the week of Christmas coming this year. As long as things continue on this route, there's probably going to be some closures once again. With the reservation system, there was no way someone could just show up, right? Unless it was for a hop.
Potentially. Yeah.
So yeah, there's certain days where you're probably not going to be able to find a reservation, but now in general, most days are probably going to be wide open for any
So
park.
they are. Disney's not going to announce it because they're not going to want to scare people away. I mean, some people are still leery of it. They're like, oh, okay, if y'all at full capacity, I probably will cancel. I'm just saying, some people are.
Well, yeah, but I would think those people that are doing that are probably going to do it anyway.
Well, I mean, I think they did because I think they're recording like record numbers for January and February this year.
That's because of pent up demand.
I know, yeah, right, because a lot of people canceled for a year and a half or whatever, however how long.
Along with the 50th. It's next January should be more like normal.
Well, we'll see.
But anyway, I got to be honest with the whole mask thing. The thing that was weird to me is if I had it off, like I was outside, I would forget that I had it off. If I had it on, sometimes I would forget that I had it on. So it kind of, I guess I found a level of comfort in either situation.
You know what was so funny is Emmeline, of course, I don't know how y'all's kids have to do it, but they still have to wear it at school.
Mm-hmm.
And with her, she forgot she had it on all the time. She wore it most of the time outside too. I mean, it was just like, it was like second. I mean, I had to tell her, I was like, Emmeline, you don't have to wear it.
Yeah, my oldest is that way. He would wear it all the time.
Yeah, because they
Just got used
have to do it at school. Yeah. I mean, I have to wear them in certain places I go, but not all the time. But I mean, it's just like second nature to them now. I guess they just wear it. I mean,
I got to be honest, though. I am kind of looking forward to not having to worry about keeping up with how many I have with me and stuff like that. It's going to be fewer situations in which I'm going to be using one. So,
well, let's just hope everybody doesn't abuse it, if you know what I mean.
Well, how can you abuse it? It's pretty much just like I said. It's based on the honor system.
Exactly. That's
we'll
why.
have fights on the monorail or something. Cause
Well, I mean, I've seen people. I mean, our pictures that we got from our trip, with us in the rides, like our Pirates picture. I mean, I think we were the only ones actually wearing it. Everybody else had already pulled theirs down. So.
Oh yeah, and they used to do something about that, but it probably got out of hand.
They're like, you know what? We're not going to ruin everybody's. They paid for this. We're not going to not give it to them because of a bunch of idiots that won't wear it. So.
Yeah. For a short time there, they were saying they wouldn't give you pictures, but
yeah, no. I mean, but that's punishing people, But anyway.
So the type of guests that you're talking about, or maybe this type of guest, several guests that have been caught with loaded and unloaded guns at Walt Disney World.
I did see that.
At least 5 people were arrested for carrying a concealed firearm toward the end of 2021. Disney clearly posts rules regarding these things. And again, I'm not against someone carrying a weapon in general, but I really don't know what you're trying to accomplish by bringing it to Disney. Totally unnecessary. Not a situation where you really need to be carrying pretty much anything. I have like a pocket knife that I carry around in general, but I always remember not to bring it with me to the park.
Yeah, you should never do it. Because of the thing that happened in Vegas, that's why they have to check your room every other day to make sure you're not stockpiling weapons and stuff. So, yeah, I mean...
Do they still do that way?
Yeah. They came into our room once while we were in there.
Yeah, but I mean, how long ago was that? I just want to say, are they still doing it? Because I feel like that people have forgotten about that.
December.
Was it?
December.
Okay.
Yeah.
I honestly don't feel like that's a bad thing, though.
I don't mind it personally, but I'm just saying, because of this.
Right.
Well, there were a couple of people who, when they did this, they claimed things like that they had a permit, and then, of course, they found out that they had, like, expired permits or stuff like that.
Oh, the famous excuse of, I forgot that was in there. That was a lot of it.
Yeah. Right. Some people just take it overboard and think they have to literally carry it everywhere. Everywhere.
I think I mentioned this on the show was it last year maybe, where we came in through the International Gateway, Epcot. Turns out it was the day after someone tried to get a gun through, and they were super strict and checked our bags, and we were kind of like, what is, they were overly, like, checking everything. And,
right.
It was like a month or two later we found out that the day before is when somebody got caught trying to get a gun through, and like, oh, that's why they were so strict that day. So
another example of such upstanding guests that we were talking about could potentially do something. Mm-hmm. Drunk guests take clothes off and brawl at Disney Springs.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Yeah. So, as this story reads, it says the report reads like a plot of Jersey Shore because 2 sisters from New Jersey get into a drunken naked fight.
Yeah, who wrote this story? But anyway, yeah.
Ages 29 and 31. They were vacationing. They ate at a steakhouse. They got drinks at an Irish restaurant. That's probably where it began. Long story short, yeah. People just acting like idiots once again.
Why don't I ever get to witness these kind of things, though?
I don't want to. I really don't.
It depends.
But, yeah.
It's kind of like grow up. Come on.
Yeah.
Especially when they're 30 years old. I mean, come on now.
This kind of stuff happens everywhere.
Now, this happened, I think, just this past week. It might have been in between our last episode that Splash Mountain finally reopened.
Mm-hmm. Which, didn't it delay an extra day, right?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. It remained closed, except for like the last hour of the day. They actually opened it for an hour.
Wow.
On that day, they quietly reopened to guests around 7:45 p.m. with a 9 p.m. closing.
If Jason was there, he would have stayed all day in line. Stood there all day.
They were catching the people leaving Big Thunder Mountain, see if they wanted to ride it. Right there at the end of the day. I mean, how else are they going to get by?
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to go right by it.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you guys have looked and seen any reports on it. I haven't really seen a vlog on it just yet. It doesn't seem like there's been anything major, which we didn't expect, because why would they spend a ton of money on it if they're just going to overhaul it entirely soon?
When I was looking at it, it looks like they just did some track repair and some maybe painting and stuff is all they really did. Because they drained it completely. I've seen some videos and pictures of guys welding on the tracks and stuff. So, I mean, I think that's, it's just the normal.
Yeah.
Well, they also didn't fix anything that's like been commonly down, I guess.
Yeah.
They didn't fix anything that you would think you would normally fix on a refurb. But again, because it's going to soon be going away.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe occasionally, if while this is still up until it goes down for good, maybe occasionally Brer Rabbit will be jumping. I don't know. We'll be hopping along.
No, that animatronic that never works.
Yeah,
or whatever, if you want to call it that.
Very expensive.
Yeah, they had when we were there, they had the scaffolding and stuff up on the outside. I know y'all saw pictures of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I actually got to see it. I mean, I told Jenna, I said, I think they're just painting, or maybe fixing a few things. They're not,
touch up.
Cosmetic.
Cosmetic stuff, yeah.
That's what it'll look.
Nothing major.
Probably touch up and safety checks, because they're
Probably.
still going to operate it until.
So there's,
it's done.
anytime you have tracks like that inside, I mean, it's going to need repairs eventually.
Especially underwater stuff.
Especially underwater, exactly, because, you got to deal with rust and all that other kind of stuff.
And the Florida water is, rough on
Disgusting.
everything.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's hard on everything.
Yeah.
I just hope at this point that I'm genuinely surprised come April and there's actually a full functioning Yeti. But
oh yes, well,
y'all are talking about refurbs. I know I'm just a guest, but did y'all see where they announced that the Grand Floridian was shutting down on March 1st, or doing refurb?
shutting down?
Well, they're doing construction to the villas at Grand Floridian.
Yeah, they're
right.
turning them into DVC studios. Yeah, the Big Pine Key building, which was my favorite building to stay in.
I've never, me and Jenna have talked about it, and I've asked her to get on the hunt to find us some DVC rental points for Grand Floridian.
Yeah.
Never stayed over there. We go over there all the time, but never stayed there. So
Yeah, it's fun to hang out there.
If we could get it at a decent price like we did Polynesian, I'd be all for it. Yeah.
I guess at some point I'm going to have to stay there at least one night just to say I've stayed there. But it's like one of the. I mean, I hate to say it because I know it's supposed to be the flagship, but it's like one of my least desired resorts.
It's a great resort. I just love.
I mean, I like it because it's on the loop. So.
Yeah, I know you're like me with those resorts.
Yeah,
the monorail.
Yeah.
So Magic Kingdom's your favorite park. That's the one you want to be closest to.
Well, as of right now, it's going to be with an almost 2-year-old, so
yeah,
it's going to be the one that he can do the most stuff at. So.
Well, Magic Kingdom's.
But of course, I go back. Like I said, I'm a creature of habit. I love it because I know the Polynesian like the back of my hand. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's no doubt. I mean, I would never get lost at the Poly.
No. So.
Of course, I can't think of a resort that I probably would get lost at, but not too bad.
All right, let me ask y'all one thing. Did y'all hear something about Disney World sending out surveys to ask people how they liked Enchantment? Did y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring that up.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Oh.
I mean, that's fine. We're bringing it up now.
What would you say?
Me?
Yeah. What is your opinion on Enchantment?
I mean, I've only watched it once, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna still say I think Happily Ever After is probably the better one because I've seen it a ton of times.
Right.
Yeah, I liked Enchantment. I didn't think it was terrible, but I also liked Harmonious better.
Yeah, I think most people agree that Harmonious is the better of the two new shows. But
Correct. Yeah.
maybe that's why they're asking.
They need to ask this a little bit later, in my opinion. How long has it been out? Since October? It's really only 4.5 months old. Yeah. It's not long.
Well, it's still got enough time to start gathering some data.
Especially how crowded it's been. They have.
See, here's the thing. This poll is going out to, or this survey is going out to everybody. So the average guest who answers it is not going to have the emotional attachment that some of the fan base has had to Happily Ever After.
I know. It's I think it's too early.
No, they're not going to have it no matter what. They're just going to be thinking about what they most recently saw. Most likely. I'm just saying. I could be surprised.
We all know what Jason would pick.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, when I brought it up earlier, and he was like, "Boo, enchantment." The thing is, they did ask this question before, because they asked about when it changed from wishes to happily ever after. They asked the question, but they also it's weird because they asked that question this time as well. Like an identical question was asked with their experience with enchantment to wishes, which ran longer. It ran approximately 14 years. So that's kind of weird that they're asking that, because happily ever after replaced wishes, but it only ran, what did it get, 3 years at best, if you count the time period that everything was closed.
Wasn't long enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but my feelings is that enchantment is like happily ever after 2.0. Personally, it's like the next step in the technology. So
yeah.
And I like I said, I kind of like the song choices better for enchantment personally overall, because they got the.
Do they have Robin Williams singing "Friend Like Me"?
No, but I'm surprised that you're sure that's Robin Williams that sang it?
Robin Williams.
Okay.
The end for sure is Robin Williams.
Okay. I just know you're like the fake voice expert, I guess. Like if they bother you particularly when they're not the real person.
I cry every time. I wouldn't cry if it wasn't Robin Williams.
Okay.
The same.
Anyway, I don't think it's really going to yield a bunch of surprising things, and it's not going to bring it back per se. But yeah, I mean, it might eventually. They might, show it at some point. So it's never say never, because how many years has the Main Street Electrical Parade come and gone, and come back and gone again, and even Spectral Magic actually has come and gone a couple of times.
Yeah, that's what they should have brought back, Spectral Magic.
That's actually I actually prefer Spectral Magic to Main Street Electrical Parade, even though
I like Spectral Magic. I like Spectral Magic.
You know why? Because that was our show. It wasn't Disneyland's parade.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, it was unique to Disney World.
All right. So I'm going to get back to the parks here in just a minute, but let's go to the movies for just a second.
Amazing.
So apparently Spider-Man No Way Home has surpassed Avatar with the third highest domestic total. Now we're talking about dollars. So it did surpass it in actual money made.
Domestic, right?
Yeah, which that takes for third on the list, right? So I think it's the number 2 spots. Yes, Avengers Endgame is the number 2 spot. And of course the number 1 spot is Force Awakens as far as money made. It's interesting because if you go back and look at number of tickets sold, just how few of tickets that Avatar actually sold in comparison to some of the other ones, but yet made so much money.
Right.
Inflation.
I'm sure.
But worldwide, Avatar is still number 1 by a lot. I believe.
Money.
Yeah, as far as total gross. I think Avengers Endgame was second.
That's close. I don't know. I guess only the U.S. likes Star Wars.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Or Spider-Man. Yeah.
But isn't that funny that all of the top 10, aside from Jurassic World, I think, are all now Disney-owned properties of...
Yeah, some of them were bought.
Right. Well, Avatar was bought, but still.
You do what you got to do.
Right. I mean...
Since we brought up Avatar, I saw a video, a Flight of Passage, that LMG Vids. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
Yes, I know the channel.
You familiar with that one? He just recently redid one, and where I'm guessing this was late night, but he was pretty much like the whole queue, the ride, everything. He was just about by himself. As a matter of fact, the pre-show, it was just he and one other guy was in the room.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was very interesting. He actually filmed the entire thing, the entire experience all the way through there and everything. What I thought about when I was watching, I was like, overall from start to finish, like from the beginning of the queue to the end of the attraction, Flight of Passage is more immersive than Rise. like the full experience. Like you're totally in this world or in Avatar the entire time, more so than you are in like Rise's queue is not very long, and even the indoor parts is very few things that are like
interesting to look at.
a rack of junk.
Right. Right. Only when you get to the end where you kind of see the maps or whatever. Like
yeah,
that's the only time it feels very Star Warsy.
Yeah. Did they have a budget they'd already blown or something on the rest of it and couldn't make the queue any better?
The Kylo Ren animatronic, I probably...
Anywhere they probably could cut $1, they did it, I'm sure.
With Flight of Passage, apparently to borrow a phrase from John Hammond, apparently they spared no expense.
Oh, what year did Flight of Passage come out? What year did it start?
That was... What was
2016? 17?
I don't think it was that early, was it?
The economy was booming in 16, 17. So Disney was spending money like water.
Yeah. Well, they were also trying to catch up with Universal because
there you go. And they were like, you know what? We've got to do this right. And I agree. I've actually stood in the whole line for Avatar, for Flight of Passage, I mean. And yes, it's definitely a lot. I haven't stood in line for Rise of Resistance except the, Fast Pass queue, but yeah, it's very detailed into that, the whole Avatar scene. So
yeah, the Rise queue that I walked in went up, back out the entrance of Galaxy's Edge into Muppets.
Behind
queue.
Muppets, yeah.
Into the backstage area, right there. Wow. Yeah, and then into the regular, what's supposed to be the regular queue outside, and then of course the regular queue inside.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did it. I had the full queue experience at Rise of the Resistance. Anyway, no, but what I was going to say when I did that too, I noticed in the Flight of Passage when he was inside the first pre-show by himself with the guy that can fly. Yeah. So when it's just two people in there, one thing you notice is he was walking back and forth, and those numbers, they really do something. Like they sense where you're standing. Like you would think when there's a bunch of people in there that they're just numbers up there. They're not really truly sensing where you stand. No, he stood on one. And it started trying to link, and then he took a step forward and stood on the next one, so it started trying to link that one. So it actually does detect where you are, for real. Yeah. I thought that was kind of interesting.
That is cool.
So, do you think they'll, since Magic Kingdom's getting Tron, Hollywood Studios got Rise, Epcot's getting Ratatouille and Guardians, do you think the next big thing is going to come in Animal Kingdom?
No.
You don't?
No, not likely.
Well, what's going to replace Primeval World? Nothing.
No.
Not anytime soon, just because of money. But you were talking about that the time period, you were talking about economy boom, and at the time that Galaxy's Edge was put into play and they were budgeting for this thing, they had money to use then as well.
Yeah, but they cut back so much from the original concept of Galaxy's Edge in general. They cut so much back. Have you seen roaming droids yet?
Nope. No, and it's not likely to, unless it's on the Starcruiser, which I don't think is happening there either.
They may have one, but...
So, I just wanted to get back to do one more thing with the movie part. Encanto is returning to theaters, I guess because of its popularity on streaming. I'm not likely to go see it in theaters, but I guess they're thinking they're going to try to squeeze every last dime they can out of Encanto by doing this, and probably see if it'll, give it an opportunity to make some real box office money, which it's probably going to influence some people to go.
Yeah, not me though.
Not me either.
Speaking of newer attractions, ones that's going to be opening later this summer, the second themed piece has been added to the Zendarian Starship stand at Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. So it now looks complete out front. Yeah, more complete.
It does look cool.
It is, yeah.
I gotta feel like the ride system is totally complete. What do you guys think? They've probably been testing it for a while inside that big blue building.
If I'm not mistaken, Tim Tracker, on the 50th anniversary, he went on a tour and actually went inside, and I think that it is operational. Yeah. Of course, it has. I mean, they got numerous tests they have to run, so
that thing's operational.
I mean, I really think it is. I think several people. I mean, I guarantee a lot of the cast have rode it. So, well, not.
They just have to finish the queue.
The higher ups.
The interior part of the queue and stuff.
Oh, yeah. They just got to get everything dolled up for everybody.
The touches, yeah. But speaking of that, did you see that story about the Tron coaster trains arriving? More of them, so...
yes.
Oh, okay.
spotted coming in. So that makes me think, if we only knew when these were delivered, we could get a timeline of when.
That's true.
Because they got to test it.
It's been a while.
It seems like they've did a little bit of hustle on Tron here lately.
But it's pretty clear they are obviously not testing Tron, or else you'd see the outdoor part.
Oh, no. You would see that one, yeah.
It'll be a while.
But yeah, I'm going to go with they've been testing Guardian for a minute. I mean, it's been a while, I would say.
Yeah. It's ready to.
Oh, which one? Oh, I mean, how long's Tron been built? 4 years?
Gosh, forever.
I mean,
more
has it
over
been 4
4
years?
now, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was
because
when we went. The first time we went back, the first time was 19 in April, and they were building it then because I got pictures of it from the People Mover. So yeah, it's been, and this is 22. So yeah. It's not. It's getting close.
See, they were just trying to do it in the spirit that Walt Disney said. Whenever he said Epcot would never be complete, they said, well, you know what? Tron is never going to be complete. So.
Oh, it will. It just.
Took it too literally.
Anyway, yeah.
I mean, they didn't knock Universe of Energy all the way down and start from scratch.
They gutted that building for sure, yeah.
I mean, they may have gutted the building, but the building never actually. They didn't have to start from the ground up.
Yeah.
Well, the original building.
So that's a big difference. They had to start Tron from the ground up, but it still shouldn't have took 4 years. It would have been built by now if it hadn't have been,
They
the delay.
did have to start from the ground up because they had to add a whole new building for the ride.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The Universe of Energy is just the pre-show, basically.
Building first, then they built the coaster inside the building, whereas Tron, they built the coaster first, then put the building around it.
First, and then put the building around it, yeah. Gotta love those engineers.
We're in the hands of engineers.
I wonder what they're going to do over here in this space for how to queue this attraction. Because you know good and well, when it first opens, this is the first time they're going to ever have like a queuing problem at Universe of Energy site. I don't think it's ever been a problem before.
It's going to be a learning curve just like everything else was for them. I mean, do you think originally Disney thought, okay, we're going to run the rides with queue all the way out to Muppets? No.
They're going to run...
It's just something
they're going to run this one all the way behind the backstage at Test Track, so you're going to be under the track. That's how long it'll be.
What are you talking about? That's why they put it there, because there's Muppets isn't using their queue, so...
Right.
All I want to know is, when are they going to retheme Mission to Space? Because it's... I'm just kidding.
Make it Horizons again.
Well, they just gave it a restaurant, so not likely.
I mean, Epcot could be wrapped up, and Mission to Space will still be 5-minute waits.
Right.
It's not...
At least the green side is,
I mean,
it never had a huge wait from the beginning, but, I mean, it used to be...
Because it kills people.
I mean, it's...
When's the last time you heard anything about that?
That's the one ride I warned my wife and stepdaughter about. I said, I'm telling you.
Orange side, for sure.
You don't want to ride it. And they were... Oh, yeah, I know. They were dead set on riding it. And I said, okay, we'll do it.
You were telling them from experience, don't look around?
I told them both.
It
didn't matter. When they got off, they were like, oh, I don't want to. I mentioned it to Emmeline. I said, do you just want to go ride the green side of this? No. Yep. So
that's funny.
It actually used to be one of my favorites, but I'm not that same person.
I'll do green any day.
Yeah,
that's what I told her green wasn't bad, but she still didn't want to go do it. I think she still had that horror in her head about the first time.
Green,
Yeah, it's different. Yeah, I've rode both of them. I've rode both of them.
Yeah, and green is like less than Star Tours intense. I mean,
the first time I ever rode it, I didn't pay attention to the signs. I was like, whatever, this is you don't got to really do that. That's for people, So I got sick. So.
It'll do it.
I remember that.
I'm sitting there looking around going, this is cool. And then when I got off, I'm like, I think I had an espresso right before I went on there too, so that didn't help.
That's no big deal. I had orange chicken before going on it one time.
Heart pounding, head spinning. It wasn't very good.
So that's why it's not a long wait all the time, ever.
Exactly.
All right. So earlier, we talked about a survey. So Disney has also questioned guests on commitment to their upcoming Starcruiser reservation in a new survey.
Yeah.
So it's a lengthy survey. It's interesting because they ask things like whether they're going to participate in the themed activities or whether they're going to wear costumes.
They're
things
just
like
now
that.
trying to find this out. People.
Yeah.
For that much money, they ought to provide the costume.
It's like, here's your script.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of them. There's a couple of them here. Which of the following best describes why you decided to book Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser? Then, of course, it goes through a list of things like themed food and beverage, or I or a member of my travel party is a huge Star Wars fan, to personally interact with Star Wars characters, something new to do at Walt Disney World Resort, experience a first-of-its-kind unique offering. I mean, they give you, like, good Lord, it's like 8 choices here total.
I'm going to go with, most of the time, it's the people that love Star Wars and want to interact with the characters is the ones that want to go.
Were any of the options I just have money to burn?
I think there's going to be a significant number of people that want to experience a first-of-its-kind unique offering.
Is one of them, I have a YouTube channel, and I need more followers?
No, I was going to say, that should be a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, but are you basing that off of people that love to try new things, or are you basing it off people that love Star Wars? Because I like trying new things, but I don't want to try that.
Well,
if that's what you're getting at,
I get it. But what I'm saying is, that outside of Star Wars fans, there is going to be a significant number of people that's going to do it for that reason.
Yeah, people that are loaded, like Adam said.
Right.
People that's got money to burn.
I consider myself a Star Wars fan, but I wouldn't do it because of the price.
I know.
That's the reason I'm not doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would do it if it was not, an arm and a leg.
Yeah.
As much, yeah.
So you're saying there's no chance you're ever going to do it?
There's a low chance, probably.
Exactly.
I would do it, but not right now. Podcast.
Maybe if the podcast got invited.
Yes, totally, I would do it.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not going to turn it down.
There you go. There you go.
Podcast trip.
All right. So the next one on there was
4 of us.
Please indicate your level of certainty around traveling for your upcoming Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser reservation. All right. So basically, that was just fully committed, somewhat committed, not very committed, or not at all committed.
Not at all committed.
We were planning
to cancel.
Was the last one. Yeah. The next one after that is, which of the following, if any, need to happen for you to be fully committed?
Lower the price.
All right.
Cut the price in half.
Yeah.
Those are some so digging deep questions there.
Yeah, so here's the options, okay? It says securing time off from work, school activities, or other commitments for travel dates. I guess because there's a lot of them during the week. I don't know. Deciding if the trip cost is worth it.
Yeah.
Another voyage date that better fits my schedule needs to become available.
I can see that too. Being
change in mask policy at the Walt Disney World Resort.
See, this sounds like some of my work stuff that they send us. They must get the same people to write this crap.
These surveys. Yeah.
Yes. Must be the same companies.
I or my travel party need to be sure we feel comfortable traveling to Orlando at that time.
No.
Or more details about the experience, example, images, video, descriptions, or testimonials, reviews from others who have experience is the last one.
Okay, do they do this at every resort, or is this just something new they're doing for this one?
This survey is specifically to people who have booked.
Who have an upcoming trip book.
Who have an upcoming one scheduled.
That's one of them surveys you just go, okay, no, I'm not doing it.
Right, but it does look like they're worried.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Adam. It sounds like they're trying to,
people keep canceling and moving there.
Exactly. They're trying to, is it basically they're summing it up to, do y'all think this is too expensive?
Well, the answer is going to be yes, but anytime somebody asks that question about price and everything, it never changes. So,
but to the die-hard Star Wars fan, they will probably spend the money and go do it and say, "Hey, I've done it."
Is it sustainable though?
I mean, and
the question is the long term.
Yes, exactly. That's probably why they're doing the survey. They're looking long term.
So I've kind of skipped a couple of them, but here's the one that says, "Do you or members of your travel party plan to wear themed outfits?" So they did ask that.
No.
And then they ask, "What best describes how actively you intend to participate in the immersive story?"
No participation.
Oh, you saw that.
I'm gonna say, but there's a ton of people that will.
So, yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into this because there's tons of questions that it covers, but you kind of get the idea that they're really wanting feedback.
Yeah. Are any of the questions, did you see that horrible promo video we put out that we had to delete off the internet because it was so bad? Yes, sir.
You know they're not going to ask that, just like they're not going to ask how you enjoyed using Genie Plus. They just want to know whether you used it. Oh, good enough for you used it. That's all that matters.
All I want to know is who was the guy that signed off on that, because he probably got an earful. If he's still there, that signed off on the promo. Oh, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because Chapek, that's beneath him, so that's not something he does.
Yeah. If he was in the boardroom, Chapek would have pushed his button and Dr. Evil.
Hopefully. I mean, if he would approve that, you'd be like, okay, what kind of other decisions is he fixing to make going forward?
Yeah. Speaking of, did you see the Super Bowl commercial with Dr. Evil? Couldn't help but think about.
I did.
Oh, I did.
Couldn't help but think about
Chapek. So we were talking about price. Something that broke just today, actually. Walt Disney World increasing ticket prices on multi-day tickets, park hopper, and more.
So you hit the nail on the head.
Yep.
When you said broke.
Yeah. Right.
Breaking, yeah.
Yeah.
Breaking pocketbooks. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so just to go over real quick, the base tickets for 1 to 3 days have not changed prices. However, 4 days were between $434 and $596, now between $447 and $596. So they basically are raising the low end, not the high end of it.
But don't they usually raise it this time of year?
Yep.
Yeah, typically.
This is getting close to spring break time, so.
Yeah.
It's usually February.
That's usually when they decide it. So that was a change of what, roughly $13 on the low end? And the next one is a change of roughly $21 on the low end. A little bit here and there. Some of the stuff is, when you're spending as much money as you normally do, is not real noticeable. But then again, they've already jacked stuff up prior to this. So I guess any increase is going to be looked at as with a frown. So, yeah, nothing out of the ordinary.
What, of course, is missing from this is annual pass prices because they're not selling them. But when they do ever decide to sell them again, I'm sure they'll be increased as well. Yeah,
if they do.
Oh, they will.
Yeah, they'll do it again at some point.
They will.
I don't know.
Probably.
You would think, but I mean, we're talking about if. You never know when it's going to be. They already started it. And
I'm not an annual pass holder, but did y'all's price increase to renew it?
I just renewed one last week, and it was still the same price, and they still give you a discount for renewing, which is good. So
yeah, I'm going to say they usually give you off, but it's a discount off of whatever they raise it to.
Yeah.
Right.
15% off of the whole total.
If we ever decide to do it, it'll be in the distant future.
Well, right now it would have to be because they're not selling them, which is,
they're not doing it.
Yeah.
They will.
Greed.
I mean, anything. Yeah, they will.
It's Chapek's greed. Anyway.
All right, so this one I found a little bit interesting.
Okay. Just
Maybe
a little.
you can have something on that.
Okay.
Yeah, little. Well, it says Disney celebrates upside of mobile dining and check-in as they can operate restaurants and resorts with less, which I think that should actually be fewer. Cast members.
Fewer cast, yeah.
Not less cast members.
I mean, this makes sense right now because they're struggling to get people to work, back to work.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I just think it's interesting that the mobile order and the online check-in is what they're talking about, I imagine.
Online check-in is great. Mobile order has not been as good lately.
Yeah, like I said, I mean,
it's hit or miss because you got to check in 40 minutes. As soon as you order something, just check in now.
I haven't really had that bad of experience with it, but...
Well, just think about the people that don't go that much, and they order. Oh, well, hey, you want to order something from here? Okay, and then they go, oh, their window's an hour and a half out.
Yeah.
To pick it up, and they're like, what?
Yeah. Even when you have a close window, though, and you check I'm here, it's like it could still take 15 minutes before it's ready.
Yeah.
When we were doing Magic Kingdom Day last month, I was on the monorail over, and I was actually putting together
Casey's.
our order at Casey's. Yeah, on the way over.
We did it. We did ours to Tomorrowland before we went over there. By the time we got there, we may have had to wait 5 minutes.
Yeah, you don't have to wait very long.
But of course, we got there we ate at 11, so.
Right. But I mean, you don't have to wait very long. Is my point. It's not as convenient as what I experienced back in, say, I can't remember if it was 17 or 19, whenever they first started doing this sort of thing. And I mobile ordered somewhere, and I went up to I think it was Restaurantosaurus at the time, and there was like a pretty long line going in there to just do a regular order. And I went up to, instead of standing in the one outside, I went up to the cast member at the door. I was like, if I have a mobile order, do I have to wait here? And he's like, no, you just go over there. Where there was literally nobody, nobody over there at all.
Was that when they first started doing it?
It had not been long.
Oh, okay.
No, there was only a few places that did it.
I'm annoyed that Woody's Lunchbox is no longer mobile order.
Really?
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Maybe it's the size.
Maybe. Oh. But yeah, there's it's hit or miss. You know, some parks have a lot and some parks don't. Like Hollywood Studios is like hardly anything good mobile order. Anyway.
True.
Anyway.
I can't really think of any
isn't commissary
counter
mobile order?
service that but I haven't eaten since they've redone the menu at commissary, but I wasn't impressed the last time I went. But I haven't tried the new one.
Yeah, it's better. It's better.
I mean,
it may be good.
I still like Backlot Express, even though it's most of the stuff you come to
But
expect.
there's also a lot of room
place,
at Backlot Express too.
Yeah, and there's outdoor seating.
Yeah. We tried to hit it this last time in windows that we thought was not going to be busy, like first thing when it opens, or past a peak lunchtime time or whatever. And we didn't really have any issues with it, but we didn't eat a whole lot of counter service either.
Yeah, had a lot of table service scheduled.
I had several table services scheduled, but that's the perk. That's the you get for going every 2 years. You get to schedule this and save for it and do it that way.
Yeah. All right. So the last story I have, which is pretty good because we're timing it pretty well, involves Disney launching story living residential communities designed by engineers. This is in Rancho Mirage, California. I kind of question, I mean, I get what they're trying to do somewhat. I'd kind of like to see what they have planned overall. Like, I get some of the concept art. It just looks like almost like a resort
right.
they would.
They put out a video with Josh DeHansom talking about it. And he says they call it Contino, spelled Cotino. You know how Walt was at Epcot? Anyway.
So is this going to be like condos or houses?
Both.
Or apartments?
It's going to be a mixed use, and there's going to be a resort hotel there, and a beach area with activities that cost extra. So, but if you're a guest, it says that in the bottom corner in the video. It's like extra fee applies. But of course it's Disney, so. But yeah, it's like you can visit it as a guest, which would be interesting.
Well, this does say some neighborhoods will be reserved for residents 55 and over, so maybe by the time they have this done...
You'll be in that category. Senior living facility.
I mean...
If they keep to the Tron pace, they will.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, when is this going to... Because the picture they show of where it is, it's like just desert. So they haven't even started on it yet.
I just trying to figure out, is there really a demand for this? I mean, we'll see, I guess. I mean, surely somebody's wanting to stay here.
People are throwing up real estate everywhere you can think. They're throwing houses up everywhere. I'm not 100% sure up there where you live, Adam, or not, but they're throwing houses up everywhere.
Anywhere they can stick one, they're putting them.
Yeah, anywhere they can stick one, they're doing it. Because the interest rates and everything's low right now still. They're higher than they were, but... And if they can throw a house up and get somebody a loan, they're getting them in there. So, real estate right now is...
The purchase prices on the houses are up, though. So
they don't care.
Yeah, people are buying
because they're giving people longer than 30-year loans. They don't care.
Yeah, people are
buying. It's exactly. So anyway,
they do hint though that these are going to be all over the country eventually. That's the plan. So, what if they build one in our neck of the woods? What would you move there just because it's Disney?
I might be eligible for the 55 and over by then.
Well, it doesn't have to be 55 and over.
Russell will just be 15, so no. I won't be able to move there.
Let's see. Yeah. I'll be 55 in approximately 12 years. So that would put Maddie at graduating.
And Livy will be a sophomore.
Probably, freshman thereabouts. She'd be in high school.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with no. You'll be no.
12 years is a long time.
Well, the site that they have is 618 acres or something like that, or 688 acres, something like that.
Wow.
And I think they said they're going to have over 1,000 houses or residences there. So it's huge.
So Disney owned property, or
No.
they bought it?
It sounds like, and of course, it says in the fine print, Disney does not own this. They're basically leasing out the name and their designs to builders and developers, that kind of thing.
That's actually pretty intelligent.
Yeah. So they could
It
drop their,
honestly
if
is.
this thing goes under, Disney won't be
Yeah.
liable for anything. So yeah, pretty smart.
Yep.
That's a Chapek move.
I'm like,
I bet
okay,
you.
well, we'll just snatch our name out of that.
Yep. Drop the
Yeah.
name.
I
Okay.
mean, that's actually, it is. I mean, they pretty much, okay, can we use your name? Sure.
Just rake in the money.
Yeah. And you're going to pay us for it, but yeah, you
Yeah.
can use it.
And then, have a resort there, which actually, if it's a Disney resort, would be pretty cool.
That would probably make money before the housing part would.
Because I would go visit it.
There you go. I mean, and people around there would. I mean, because I'm going to go with, how many do they have in California? 2? 1 or 2?
To what?
Disneyland resorts that they actually run.
3 hotels, yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
3. I guarantee you those make a ton of money.
Yeah.
I mean, the people that go there go, oh, I want to stay in it. I mean, even though it costs out the,
Oh yeah, it's
they still want to stay there.
yeah. The Disneyland's hotels are, on average, were more expensive. They were more expensive than the Walt Disney World ones. I don't know if
That's
they are
because
now.
they know people will pay it. Yeah. I mean, because, Disney World has how many? And then Disneyland has 3?
Yeah.
Then again, there's one thing about Disneyland. There's a lot of surrounding hotels that are like way closer to Disneyland than you ever would get to Walt Disney World for non-Disney.
Good neighbors. Like a good neighbor.
I mean, there's some that's like literally right across the street from the gate.
The one we stayed at when we went out there was an Ayers Hotel that was closer to the Los Angeles Angels Stadium, the Anaheim Angels at the time, but the drive to the park was relatively short still.
That's good.
But yeah, it was nice. It was nice to kind of stay a little bit away from that area and just drive to it, I guess.
I've mentioned that to Jenna. That's a bucket list of ours. I want to go. I know y'all have been, but I want to go just to see it once.
Yeah,
I want to do both. I want to do DCA and I want to do Disneyland. So
I'm actually considering wanting to go back maybe next year.
We were going to go in 2020. That was our thing, and then didn't happen.
yeah, I mean, I've watched enough vlogs and stuff on Disneyland and DCA. I'd love to check it out. Say I've done it.
Yeah, and there's some more stuff that I haven't done there in the last 10 years, because that's how long it's been. Or this year, just July will be 10 years.
I was say the one thing that really stands out to me is I'd love to do the Pirates in Disneyland because it's like totally different, isn't it?
So much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
That's like the best
Yeah.
Disney dark ride, period.
I'm just saying. I mean, because I've watched, Disneyland. Of course, I've rode the one in Florida a million times, but just watching the one, I'm like, golly, this is totally different, and it's longer.
Way longer. Yeah,
it's
so much better.
See, that's because the one in Florida was an afterthought.
Sure.
Rushed and rushed. Bam.
Yeah.
I can't believe you didn't mention Figment buckets come back this week.
That's a nice story.
Speaking of that,
Check on my eBay account.
Did you get that, Adam? No. Oh, man. You didn't get the one I got?
what was funny is I was kind of going back and forth with a friend, and he was talking about them listed on eBay, right? And that he sends me this screenshot that has, like there's one up here for 150, there's one for 119.99, there's one for 98. And what's funny is right below this last one, here's the description: decent Figment Disney popcorn bucket drawing, Festival of the Arts by a 13-year-old, $15.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was
Sold.
like, seriously, these things are so popular. Somebody put out there that they're just selling a drawing of the the Figment popcorn bucket.
I saw a video of how many they had, and I'm not quite sure this week they actually brought them back. But it didn't seem like within 2 or 3 days they were already sold back out again.
What they need are Figment popcorn bucket NFTs. That's what they gotta put out. You can own it
Right.
Yeah.
forever. A digital copy forever.
There you go.
It's yours.
Because they were actually doing it different this time the way you got it, right? You could actually mobile order your Figment bucket. Isn't that right?
Do you know what gets me with
a-
all this stuff? Is, once upon a time when somebody bought something when it came out, it actually became rare because there wasn't that many people buying it.
That's
Like
smart.
everything that comes out now, it's never going to be rare because there's going to be there's going to be like this huge supply of them years from now.
Yeah.
So it's never going to be a rare thing.
And Disney are geniuses in that aspect because they saw how much it sold. Of course, they were going to mass produce it and sell more. And guess what? They'll have more.
How'd they get them so fast, though, in this day and age right now?
Hey.
How they did it.
Hey.
They have a secret underground tunnel.
Money talks.
It does.
It does. And plus, when your name's attached to the money, it's kind of like Amazon now. Amazon goes in and goes, you want to sell our product? Can you do this? And if you don't, they just cut ties with you. I mean, it's just, they don't care. They'll find somebody else to do it.
Yeah, we'll find somebody
Disney's the
who'll
same
make
way.
it.
Oh, yeah. And Disney's the same way. I guarantee it.
We want our Figment buckets. If you can't do it, we'll find somebody who will.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, the name has a lot to do with it. And they know they got the money. Yeah.
Most definitely. All right, so I think we managed to get a action-packed show in here. I mean, when it was all said and done, I think we've done well. Is there any last thoughts or anything we want to add? We didn't really mention Genie Plus this week. We'll have to do that some other time again.
The last thing I will say is I saw that you can finally do a cast compliment through the app now instead of having to do a Twitter thing. The features, I just looked at it myself. It is on there.
That's good, 'cause I'll have to remember that.
I've been doing a little bit more research on Genie Plus, so I do have some. Next time y'all ever talk about it, just let me know. I will get on. I'll give you some.
Yeah, I want to know what Jen thinks about it. Get her thoughts.
Okay, we'll definitely do that.
Make sure they're appropriate for the show.
I will. But I mean, I've done a little bit more research on it, and I'll give you my opinion of it. Just looking from where I thought Disney looked at it from a business standpoint, and where I can see what they were doing. But anyway, we'll dig into that later.
Ooh, tease that for next time.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, if you would like to reach out to us, you can find us on the usual channels. We have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That is all at TWTM Podcast. We also have a YouTube channel, which I have been playing around with some video lately. I'm trying to get something that I can probably put on the official channel. And we have a Spreadshirt store in which you can get TWTM merchandise. That is shop.spreadshirt.com/TWTM Podcast.
And you can find links to all that and more on our website, travelingwiththemouse.com. James, you going to start our TikTok channel for the show?
No, but I think Emmeline will do it for you.
We'll get somebody on that. You can also email us podcast at travelingwiththemouse.com. And if you want to plan your trip and don't know where to go, you can email our travel agent friend. Her name is Jill Dilbeck. Email her jilldilbeck@gmail.com to help plan your trip.
So, for Adam and James, my name is John, and this has been Travel in the Mouse, and we hope you will join us on our next trip.
Travel in the mouse?
Travel in the mouse? Okay.
That's what it sounded like you said. Travel.